Hey guys, welcome to this video. On today's video, I want to talk about what can happen if one does a hair transplant on the scalp that is having inflammation and dermatitis. And the thing is that there is a guy who reached out to me last week about this problem. He had done a hair transplant on the scalp that was having inflammation and dermatitis. And basically, I will show you what happened afterwards, what kind of problems he got, and what happened with his transplanted hair. And for you guys who are on this channel for the first time, my name is Alex. And I'm previously a hair loss sufferer who was able to regrow back my own hair. And I'm also a certificated trichologist. So in today's video, I want to talk about a call that I had a couple days ago from a guy who had done a hair transplant on the scalp that was having inflammation and dermatitis. And prior to procedure, what happened is that he had some mild inflammatory problems on his scalp. There was a bit redness, there was a bit itchiness, and some mild dermatitis with dandruff and dryness. And what happened afterwards, after he had done a procedure, those things 10x and got so much worse. So his scalp basically got super inflamed with a lot of burning sensation, a lot of redness, itching, tightness of the scalp, and his dermatitis just also got out of control with a lot of small whitish flakes all over his scalp. And the thing is that this guy, he actually did a hair transplant in his frontal area. I will show a couple of pictures of him before or after the procedure, right afterwards, and also what happened after. But he did a hair transplant in his frontal area, and he also did a hair transplant in the eyebrows and in the beard as well. And the interesting thing is that his eyebrows and beard is okay. Like those areas has actually recovered very nicely from hair or from the transplant, but it is only the scalp where he transplanted the hair around the scalp itself that there is a problem, right? So again, it shows importance of being aware that the inflammation, dermatitis can be a huge issue if one does a hair transplant. And other thing is that the transplanted hairs that they actually did transplant to the frontal area, they have fallen out, right? So the procedure was a failure. And here is some of the pictures of how actually his scalp looks like now after like 9 months after the procedure. So this is something that is very important to understand, right? Because if there are scalp problems, they can amplify if one is doing a hair transplant, right? So those scalp problems, they have to be addressed and completely solved, and one has to be sure that one has a good control of scalp environment before one actually considers a hair transplant. Right? So this healthy scalp is not just important if one is doing, for example, treatment with regular treatment such as minoxidil and other topicals, but it is also very important if one actually considers doing a hair transplant. And from my experience, the important thing when it comes to hair is that one has to have a strong hair cycle, right? So the hair cycle has to be strong before one does a hair transplant. The hair follicles has to be not be DHT sensitive. That's also important. And there has to be a stop of the hair loss progression, right? So those factors are very important before one does a hair transplant. And of course, one cannot have inflammatory problems or dermatitis or fungal issues on the scalp before a procedure, right? Because those things will basically make it much harder to actually have a successful results from a hair transplant, as this guy shows in his example. So basically what happened after our call yesterday is that he decided to join my program. So we are going to work together for the next 6 months, and I will share his progress pictures and see how he is progressing with the program. But again, like the minor question here is that how much damage the procedure has done to his existing hair follicles. Right? Because if the existing hair follicles also has been affected by a transplant, then of course it can compromise his growth possibility of actually seeing results when doing a regular treatment with regular methods, right? But first, basically priority here is to address his scalp problems, to address his scalp inflammation, his dermatitis. That has to be under control. So first goal is to solve his scalp problems with dermatitis and inflammation, and afterwards, when that part is done, then we can start to focus on DHT sensitivity and hair growth cycle itself, right? And when those things are solved, then we are going to focus on actually growth phase to actually see some results regarding regrowth. So this is something I want to share with you guys, so you are aware of importance of fixing the scalp first before doing a treatment or doing any kind of procedure such as hair transplant, because scalp problems can amplify the problems one is having if they've done a procedure on that kind of scalp environment. And for you guys who want to reach out to me regarding your hair situation, if you have questions about hair loss, how to address it, if you are struggling with regrowth or other parts of the treatment such as scalp problems, inflammation, dermatitis, fungal issues, you can schedule a call below this video. There is a link for it. Let's talk and see how my program can help you with your hair situation. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you next time.